and then we will get started. Thanks for joining. All right, I think we can get started. So I would like to start off welcoming everyone to this session and to thank our sponsors, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation and the Osprey Foundation, for their support for this event. Welcome to, you can go to the next slide, and even to the next one. So we are the University of Leeds, Emanti, and Sanergy, and we're happy to welcome you to this session. What will sanitation really cost in your city? International benchmarking as a foundation for informed decision-making. So glad that you, like us, are excited about benchmarking and the true cost of sanitation. You can jump to the next slide. So just a bit of orientation on how we're going to spend our time together today. For the next 10-ish minutes, I'm going to give you a little bit of background on the CACTUS project. And then we're going to dive in. So we're going to go into breakout rooms for a nice long time and actually get involved with the tool. So you will be guided through by some wonderful guides in breakout rooms, and encouraged to follow along yourself. And then we'll come back together to debrief on the breakout rooms and to hear a little bit about the way forward. So I will jump in and tell you, so CACTUS, which stands for Climate and Costs in Urban Sanitation, but also then spells out cactus, which means we can have fun images like this. Basically, what we initially set out to do with CACTUS project was to use existing cost data to generate globally comparable benchmarks, which decision makers could use for citywide inclusive sanitation planning. Simply put, we assumed that if we could get cost data, we would then be able to focus on the analysis that would spit out a reasonable estimate for implementation of a specific component, such as a transfer station, given in a city of given size in a given region. You can go to the next slide, please. That was a great plan. We loved it. It was a lovely idea. And when we started collecting cost data, we found a real lack of consistency that made it just about impossible to proceed in the way that we had planned. Specifically, we found inconsistency in how costs are categorized and how sanitation systems are defined. You might be thinking, those are pretty fundamental things if you'd like to compare costs, and we thought the same. So we proceeded, we pivoted a bit, and CACTUS now focused on developing a standard methodology for reporting costs in order to build up a library of empirical cost case studies that we can use to develop an approach to parametric cost estimation, and then use it to model the costs of sanitation system options in real cities. So the important thing to take away from what I've just said about CACTUS is that we were initially focused on building a tool, assuming that we would be able to get the data to feed into this tool relatively easily. Many amazing tools exist for analysis and planning, and they have tremendous potential, and they rely on quality, analyzable data as an input. So developing an approach to parametric cost estimation that can be used to model costs for an actual new system is very exciting. Creating data entry tools that anticipate every possible cost and foolproof manuals that guide users through categorization of ambiguous costs is less exciting. And we must do this foundational work of collecting comparable data in order to reap the benefit of this and other amazing tools. So I will now share with you one of the fundamental pieces of CACTUS is the definitions. So broadly, and this comes back to the piece around consistent definition of sanitation systems. So at a high level, they're divided into wastewater and fecal sludge management systems. I won't go through all of these, but before we go on to the FSM slide, just noting here, what we've done is try to really be clear. If you're looking particularly in the emptying and transport stage, what we've done is try to be really, really clear about defining the type of system. All of this goes toward making it really easy for somebody who's responding with cost data to make sure that they're sharing their cost data for the right system. So as you'll note, we move from containment, emptying, transport through to treatment, and to stay consistent with other tools such as the SFD. And then what we're trying to do here is really say, like, these are those categories, containment through treatment are already really helpful standard definitions. And what we're offering here are standard definitions in the way that we talk about systems. So just briefly, the next slide shows the FSM categories. And similarly, you will see here in FSM, there are separations between emptying and transport. We also have options for both emptying and transport together. And basically, what I'm showing you here is that we've created a set of definitions and a standardized approach to costing. And soon, later this year, we'll be piloting data collection tools before making them widely available and soliciting submissions. So a key thing to note here is you can soon use these very tools to share your data and encourage others to do the same. Don't worry, you might think that sounds really complicated. So Lauren, if you can jump to the next slide, what we're sharing here are screenshots of what the tools look like. On the what you'll see is a manual on the right-hand side that really is meant to kind of anticipate any possible questions that could come up when you are trying to use this, and the workbook on the left-hand side, which is, as I said, maybe not the most exciting, sparkly thing, but is meant to really give us the standard foundation so that we can collect this data. Go to the next slide. We are going to jump in just a couple of minutes. We're going to open up the breakout rooms. So for those of you who have been doing this in other sessions, we're actually going to need you to go back to the main session page, scroll to the bottom to find breakout rooms, and select the appropriate breakout room. As you'll see there, the breakout rooms are divided by the month in which you were born. So hopefully you have that information on hand, and you can self-select into the correct breakout room. Just in case it's helpful, breakout 1 is January through March, breakout 2, April through June, breakout 3, July through September, and breakout 4, October through December. And then your hosts in the breakout rooms will walk you through and let you know when it is time to come back. But we are going to come back at Eastern time, 11:30. I will trust you to do the conversions yourself, at which point we will have a chance to kind of share back and get into a little bit more sharing around what's happening next with CACTUS and the plans. So can't quite tell if people are moving into breakout rooms, but can I get a thumbs up if we are ready for the breakout rooms? Okay, great. So you can go back to the main session page. I'm going to paste the link into the Zoom chat, just in case you need help getting back there. And we will see you back together soon.
I'm just going to leave, so I'll see you shortly, Ruthie.
Thanks, Barbara.
And just to encourage everyone to come back at the end, we'll tell you what you've done with your data. It's going to be like a big reveal show, so please come back at the end.
Yes. And I have just sent the link to the main session back into the chat here. I see our numbers dwindling. So as soon as everyone has gone to a breakout room, I will also join one. in the meantime, if you haven't already, please do go to a breakout room. Once again, I've shared the link to the main session where you can find the breakout rooms in the chat. And Manal, if it's okay with you, I will go over into one of the breakout rooms and you'll stay here. Is that okay?
Yeah, fine.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.